Yo, my crying is supposed to be private, man. I feel betrayed by Alicia.
You were betrayed. You were betrayed.
You know why? Because I was expecting, we have these classic movies about overcoming things and this formula that's been existing for years in the industry. But what I love about your movie, besides the whole story of your family, that I think is beautiful, it's another perspective of the immigrant.
Hmm.
And I'm
Yep.
Dominican. I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Yep.
I live in Miami.
Yep.
And usually we don't see these stories of people coming from apparently rich countries like Australia and with a cool accent, because my accent is, I mean, it's an accent. Yours is cool.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm glad you think so.
and I wonder, and you were 5 years old when everything happened. And I wonder how everything goes through a 5 years old
Yeah.
back then, like suddenly living in a big house with all the
Mhm.
commodities to in a few months living in another country, cutting grass
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cleaning houses. I want to start with that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Ruben, first of all, muchas gracias.
De nada.
Mucho gusto. My esposa is first generation Mexican American.
I heard that. I have
Yes,
Maria.
and Mariah, that's right. And she
Mariah.
just we just lost her grandmom last October, and her grandmom was the one that was responsible for moving from Mexico to America, and so we got to celebrate her life and the fact that if she had not made that migration, we would never have met. And so that part of the story, I'm so glad you touched on it, and it makes me a little emotional because that's a real important part of so many people's story is this idea of dreaming and moving to another place and taking a great risk and losing everything um and we face that, yeah, we have a cool accent, but in your words, but I was obviously very young at the time, as you said, but I remember feeling this sense of, you know we'd left everything we knew. We'd left our aunts and uncles and our cousins, and we had, you're not the only ones in your culture that has like tias and
Yeah.
tios and primos and primas. We love our cousins and our relatives in Australia, and we left it all and moved to a whole different culture where they have a weird, we were in Nashville and they have a real weird accent in Nashville. And then my dad lost his job and we were sort of stranded with no clothes and so sleeping on beds made out of clothes and no car and no way for our little sister to be born in a hospital and no insurance and no work visas. And we had the opportunity as a result to really band together. The Hollywood Reporter did a great article when we first announced the film, and they said, turning struggle into adventure.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, what if that could be the mindset of the immigrant? What if that could be the mindset of the family? Like, let's turn struggle into an adventure and let's overcome together. But you have to band together to do it. You can't do it on your own. That's what I realized.
But also, you guys were seven, like nine, counting your parents, and it's not like a family of two or three. You guys were a lot, and what I love is how you portrayed your mom, because your mom is like that bond between your father and the family and their dreams. Because dreams are like beautiful. You just do it's easy to dream, but that beautiful honor that you make to your mom and the real
Mm.
unsung hero. And
Yeah.
I wonder, have your parents watched the movie?
Yeah.
They have.
I'll tell you a little something I found out last week. Um, I, my parents are still living, and in order to sort of make sure that they were okay, we actually sent them the script even before we started filming the movie. And mum had a few thoughts, and I just found out last week that dad never read the script. I think he felt as though that he would potentially um, speak too much into it or change it too much if you read it. And so the first time he ever knew the story was we did a little family screening. and we played it for all of our siblings and our esposas and esposos and our nieces and nephews. And mom cried, and dad went and talked to the projector operator. I just don't think he knew, what to do. But from that day to this, he's watched it, I think, 20 times. And I think he's very proud. I think he's very proud because mom is the unsung hero, and he loves her. And yeah,
I have to say, what is the part that make me cry? And very specific. I lost my mom when I was 15. So many things were mixed up. And in one point of my life, I felt that like you guys like sleeping in the floor and don't knowing what's next. Because I think that's the real scary part, that you don't know what's next. And you don't know, and sometimes struggle can make you make decision that you never knew that you were doing. And like suddenly you, okay, let's cut grass. What if we charge for this? And that conversation and that sequence, which I think you did amazing, when you confront your daughter about her dreams because you felt frustrated. I mean, I'm talking you as an actor, as your father, and and then the confrontation with your wife, your mom. I mean, it's kind of a weird multiverse now talking.
yeah, it's a very weird. Like I'm looking at Joel, but I'm
Yes.
Joel, but I'm my dad, but that's my mom, but I have to kiss my mom, but it's not my mom. It's
That sequence, man, I think you did amazing. I just felt it in me, and I wonder, because you have to write the script based on something, and that conversation, I don't know if you had it based on your sister experience or your mom's experience, but that scene, that sequence, I think is perfect. And I wonder emotionally for you, how was living, because I think that's the breaking point for your family.
yeah,
uh
yeah.
and I wonder, how do you shoot that, because you felt it. I felt it a lot.
I'm so glad that you highlighted that scene, Ruben, because it was the only scene in the whole movie that we reshot.
Wow.
We shot it the first day, and one of the kids had COVID, so they had to leave. And then it was outside, and so there's a storm coming in, and it was about to start raining, and we're running out of time. And so we just sort of rushed it, and we just didn't get the emotion right. And then we actually had the editor put the scene together. And I remember watching it on my iPhone and going, oh no, this doesn't work. And so we found another afternoon. We were able to reshoot it. And my brother-in-law, so Rebecca's and James' husband, Cubby, he was the second unit director on the movie. So all keeping it all in the family, man.
Everything in the family, that's cheaper.
In the family. And so you got to think, for him, he's watching
His wife.
The younger version of his wife.
Yeah.
And his father-in-law. And so out of confidence, I will, in keeping confidence, I'm going to not share what he told me before the scene.
Okay.
But he came up and whispered something to me that was really important for me to hear, that put me in the perfect mindset to be able to offer that apology.
I love it. I love it. And the other sequence is when of course your father, it's like you're broken, like you don't know what's next, you don't care about anything. And that particular scene, I'm sure that every immigrant that has moved to this country and has seen struggle, it has faced that, because I have many of my friends that I know here, like there's a moment, it's not about the country, it's about you as a dreamer, you move here for a reason. And this is the important part of having a support system like is your family. And now that you guys have so much success, and you are everywhere, and how's that relationship still? Is this movie still a bond? It's like a bond that you created?
I think so. I think so. When we began working on it, I think our hope and our prayer was that it would be redeeming, for all of us, for other people, that people would feel seen, because it was so close to our heart. that people would feel seen, but it would be redeeming for my sister and for my mom and for my, really the unsung heroes that walked through it. And so far, Ruben, maybe check in with me in a month or two, but so far, I think it's felt very redeeming, and everyone feels very seen in the movie, in my family. And now I'll say this without going into too much detail. That's not to say there have not been very hard conversations. And there's been misunderstandings along the way. And it was like, for instance, for Rebecca, she would tell you this. It was really difficult for Rebecca to come on set for the movie. She found it very hard. But she's really proud now to promote the film, and she feels really excited about getting the film out into the world.
I have a 5 years old just here, just watching some videos, and one of the images that I have on my mind that made me tear up. It's like if he make a movie about my life, and you portray your dad, like you portray your father, man. Like how proud it's a son of his dad, his parent, to portray it in a movie and just lived it months as you were him.
Yeah. It's profound. I think I'm still working through it. I think I did it because I love my dad, yes, but I think I also did it because I love my mom. And there's an old proverb that says that her children will rise and call her blessed. And part of this project was to do that, to honor our parents, even while they're still living. But we also wanted to make sure that it had teeth, that it was gritty, and that it was grounded, and that it was warts and all. And so that's a very vulnerable thing. So yeah, I hold them all in the balance of like feeling proud of my family and proud to honor my father and mother in this way. And then also know that we're putting our sort of dirty laundry, if you will, on a silver screen for the world to see. And so you got to hold them both at the same time, because if you don't show the real reality of what happened, then all of the honoring is just sentimental. It doesn't mean anything. So in order to have good sentiment, you have to really show the ugly side. And so it's the balance between the two.
Mm-hmm. Family is not on the way. Family is the way. I think what you did is not just something for your family. It's not just for the immigrants. I think the movie, it's for everyone, because we all come from a family. We all feel lost. Like people have, like I work in healthcare, and many people have felt lost. And this is not just for your family. This is just using your family as platform to tell a beautiful story.
That's it.
Me as an audience, me as a journalist, me as a writer, I just want to thank you, because it's a beautiful story. It's a story that I'm gonna share with. And the thing is that you can watch this movie with a family, and that family will have conversation about things that they went through. And this is the beauty about this.
That's what I love. The closer you go to your own heart in telling a story, the more it reaches out to other hearts. And that's what I'm so proud of. We went so close to our hearts in this. And I feel like and man, I can't tell you, Ruben, how, because no real reviewers have really seen it yet. Like, you're one of the first reviewers that I've spoken to. How encouraged I am that you caught the heart of what we were trying to do. That makes me, that just is very encouraging for me today.
No, I'm sure you're gonna have great reviews. I think it's a movie because I don't call this movie just a Christian movie. I call this a human movie.
A human movie. There you go.
And I just want to say thank you. Congratulations. You did an outstanding job as an actor, as a director, as a writer. And I'm not saying just for saying it, because I have seen so many movies in my life that sometimes these movies don't do anything to me. But this one, for some particular reason, Alicia is my witness, that I texted her and I say, this movie made me cry 4 times. This is not okay. And congratulations, Joel. And that's it, man. Many blessings to you and your family.
Buenas tardes, muchas gracias. I hope we get to meet each other in person in future.
I hope that. And I'll send you a big hug to you.
Okay, yes, to you as well.